Perth is always kind of the last stop as I cross Australia, but it always ends with a bang. I love it. My personal impressions of Perth are that it's beautiful. There's a serenity to it that I don't find in some of the bigger cities. But you know what? There are comic book stores in Perth, and I'm at home at a comic book store. You know, some people are surprised when I say this, but my audiences in Perth have a sense of fierce concentration to them. You're all wonderful and smiling people, but when you sit down to learn something, it's different from the other. The other cities, you kind of have a lanky casualness to you, but the Perth people, they're like leaning forward and they have these serious expressions. And what I think is going on is that there has to be a deeper system of thought here in Perth, because you kind of have to take care of your own, don't you? You're a little bit isolated from the rest of the world, and it creates a stronger sense of bonding, a stronger sense of community. Normally, my company Starlight Runners process would necessitate a deep dive, a true assessment into the nature and fundamental and foundational tenets and philosophies of Perth as a city. My instincts tell me that there's a point to be made by the location of Perth and the fact that it is a thriving mecca so far away from so many others. And the point that's made is that it's easy to do business with Perth in the 21st century, no matter where you are in the world, and that the talent that's here and the design sensibility that's here is unique in the world, and we now have the capability of leveraging that talent and that vision everywhere. You're no longer isolated, but you have to demonstrate that to the world. I've discovered throughout Australia that there is still something of the sensibility of the siloed corporation, the siloed communications and media. If we don't understand that all of our companies and all of our media platforms need to be placed in a greater context, are actually interlinked as far as the consumer is concerned, if we don't realize that, there's going to be trouble. You're going to be left behind. A transmedia society, a society where data and narrative flow across multiple media platforms is the society that this generation has been born into, and we need to understand that. I have been thrilled with the eagerness of all of Australia to learn new techniques in multi-platform communication. What I'd like everybody to think about is that Australia will proliferate more as it understands how to integrate the various societies inside Australia into one another. That means strengthening and including the indigenous people, but that also means becoming more open to the outside world, to begin the integration progress so that there is an Australian presence in some of the greater markets around the world. And I don't just mean Rupert Murdoch.